For years, we heard that Russia interfered in the 2016 presidential election. The media had branded Russian misinformation bots as the culprit that brought Donald Trump to the White House. But new studies have countered that claim, showing that there was no interference at all, and that fear of the Russian government was used against Trump. The research was conducted by NYU Center for Social Media and Politics. They looked at 1,500 Twitter timelines of Americans. They determined that the relationship between the number of posts from Russian foreign influence accounts that users are exposed to when voting for Donald Trump is near zero, and not statistically significant. According to the journal Nature Communications, we demonstrate first that exposure to Russian disinformation accounts was heavily concentrated. Only 1% of users accounted for 70% of exposures. Second, exposure was concentrated among users who strongly identified as Republican. Third, exposure to Russian influence campaign was eclipsed by content from domestic news media and politicians. Finally, we found no evidence of any meaningful relationship between exposure to the Russian foreign influence campaign and changes in attitudes, polarization, or voting behavior. This false claim of Russian trolls became a widespread idea thanks to the Democratic Party, which claimed they knew for a fact that Russian President Vladimir Putin was interfering on behalf of Trump. They, of course, offered no proof of their claim. Instead, they produced the fraudulent Steele dossier, which contained many falsehoods. Twitter was attacked by Democratic politicians as being culpable by not banning Russian accounts en masse. Senator Mark Warner, a Democrat from Virginia, lambasted the company at a September 2017 congressional hearing for failing to not protect American democratic institutions.
Made a couple things. One, they clearly understand that this problem of Russian intervention or other foreign countries' intervention and spreading misinformation, disinformation is not going to go away. I think they're finally taking it seriously. They didn't take that for the first year after 2016 elections. Now I think they realize this is an ongoing challenge.
This became a major political line for Democratic Party and establishment intelligence agencies, as well as many others. But in the end, it was proven to be false. The Democrats largely held on to this claim in order to give excuse for their loss to Trump. The loss itself dumbfounded many leading academic and democratic institutions. Rather than admit that the U.S. had been fostering a soft fascist path for decades, they invoked the image of Vladimir Putin and by proxy the Soviet Union in many of their campaigns. The rise of the far right should be no surprise to those who are on the right themselves. But in U.S. politics, anything that is not far right is automatically perceived as left. This should bury, once and for all, the false claims of Russian interference in the 2016 presidential elections. The Democrats should take responsibility for their loss, and mainstream political establishment should take responsibility for slowly building the political scene that they have.
Thank you for watching. If you like this program, then please head over to my Patreon page and set up a monthly donation. It's your donations that keep this program running. Also, if you would like, please rate, comment, subscribe, and share in various social media.